my name is Dale Archdekin. I'm the founder of Smart Inside Sales. We are a lead conversion scripting dialogue training company. And we work with individuals as well as teams to help the agents and ISAs improve their scripting and dialogue skills to increase their lead conversion rates. So what I'm doing today is a call review. I want to say a little bit about call review. What we do in our coaching and training program. First of all, if you're a team leader and you are not getting your calls recorded, you are doing all of your agents and your ISAs a disservice. If you're an individual agent or ISA, you must be recording your conversations. It is the most impactful way to improve your skill set, do better, have better conversations, increase your conversion rate than anything else that I can think of. So it's one thing to learn a concept, which, in these webinars, we do a lot of talking. We give a lot of concepts. We talk about a lot of ideas. But then it's another thing to take it a step further, which everybody knows as role play, right? So role play is great, but role play is pretending, right? It's not a real life situation. It's make-believe. So when you go from learning a lesson concept to role play, actually practicing it, that improves your skill level quite a bit. To go beyond just practicing in fantasy land, you need to review what you actually did. I don't know if you can imagine an NFL team that does not review their game tapes, does not review their own videos, or does not review the videos of their competitors. Anybody who knows sports would think that's insane. I don't even know sports. I barely know which ball goes inside the football field, but I know they watch their tapes and that it's an amazing way to improve their skills and study for their strategy. Hey, Barry, how are you? Good to see you. You're muted.
Yeah. Hey, Dale. Sorry, I was at Ylopo office hours and it went over. And I agree with you. I think also reviewing calls are also helpful because we're nervous when we're calling strangers about houses. And so we're using the fight or flight part of our brain, which is very much instinctive. It's not creative. It's not the artistic side of our brain. And so we go to what we've always done when we get anxious. And the only way I know of to impact your instincts to where you are naturally changing how you communicate to people is practice. And I joke a lot, like I've got these questions for my agents to ask, and there are a lot of nice people on my team, and they're used to just saying when the person says, I don't want a home, okay, can I email you? Like that's their go-to, right? And they just kind of fall like a house of cards. And so I have them ask these questions, and you listen to the recordings and they're horrible, but they get the question out like, oh, I understand you're not ready. Let me ask you, when you're ready to move, what are you hoping to change about where you live? Like you can tell they're reading it. Yeah. And then the person answers the question, and then, they lighten up a little bit and the conversation keeps going. And eventually it does become natural. And I don't know, I know that we're not necessarily going to talk about this, Dale, but I don't know how you feel about it, but that's why I like questions, because it eases me into my instincts don't have to be completely honed. I can just remember, oh yeah, that was a thing I was supposed to ask. And I can do it out of my anxiety and still get the job done. I don't know if you have an opinion or.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. That is absolutely spot on, Barry. It really helps people, especially ones who have anxiety around it or don't have a lot of experience around it.
Yeah.
For the anxiety part, for everybody listening, I want to go back to something that I've talked about with Barry. We've talked about it here. I continue to push it as much as I can. You develop anxiety when it's a me versus them scenario. Hold on a second. Can you shut that off for me? Sorry.
I can't reach it.
What's that?
I can't reach it.
Oh yeah, thanks, Barry. That was my wife who just came home. Okay. So when it's a me versus them scenario, that is anxiety producing, right? And I want to say this because this is the shift that makes a massive impact for everybody, is when you can get to a we position, right? If you can approach everyone from a we position, it is far less anxiety producing, right? So I'll give you a quick scenario. This is a me versus you, Barry. Barry, do you want to buy a house now? And all of my hopes and dreams and paycheck is hinged on whether you say yes to me or not. and also some of my ego and how I feel about myself.
No, leave me alone.
It's so stressful. I don't know what to do now. Now I'm going to switch to a we situation. Hey, Barry, should we buy a house right now?
Yes, Dale, right now.
Wait, no, I still want you to say no. Barry, should we buy a house right now?
No.
Oh, no. How come we shouldn't buy a house right now, Barry?
I'm just saving up a down payment.
Oh, got it. Okay. How much money do we need for a down payment, Barry?
12,000. I'm sorry. The we is so emphasized. It's hard to keep a straight face. $12,000.
Fantastic, Barry. How long will it take us to come up with $12,000, Barry? And actually, do we actually need $12,000, Barry, or can we do it with less money?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, actually.
Okay.
Question.
So hopefully that like comic relief helps people understand the point of we and the difference, like, right? It's so much different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think just the phraseology of changing to we, you know, I really feel like generally, and I don't want to get too philosophical, but I think that when it comes to training real estate agents to sell houses to strangers, I call them strangers because that's what they are. We don't know them yet. I feel like it's just so much adversarialness that we're instead of dealing with that adversarial relationship, dealing with it on a fundamental level, like, hey, I'm not trying to trick them. I'm not trying to steal from them. Instead of dealing with that, we're kind of trying to basically just feed that monster of, okay, since we're working against them, how can we trick them into buying with us? Like, what can we do? Right. You know, so instead of, you know, taking the approach of this person really does need our help and they just don't realize it. And I think for a lot of the people that are listening, Dale, I bet if we did a poll, I bet a lot of them don't spend their day telling people what they should be doing. Like, it's just not a part of their normal course of action. Someone comes in and cuts in line. Maybe they mention that they're not happy with it. Maybe they aren't, but inside they're really frustrated. I bet a lot of people are in that camp. And so then we ask them to get on the phone and overcome objections. And they're like, wait, what? I didn't even tell the person that cut me that I was upset. How do you want me to, you know what I mean? And right. But we haven't taught them how to work through it, which is why this call session with you and the training that you've already done, it's honestly, I think it's why it's been such a big hit. And, you know, it's actually worked into my onboarding for my new agents. You know, I've taken copies of it. I've included it because I really think what you're doing and how you're approaching it, it's really lifting it's exposing a lot of need and also giving people what they need to be able to make it happen. So I'm excited to keep going today, man. Just keep digging deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have some calls to play. I'm excited. Before you came on, I was giving a bit of a sermon about why it matters to actually record what you do and then review it. And as you pointed out, you know, you're in your headspace, you're having anxiety, you're trying to figure out what to say, you're wondering how this person feels about you at the same time. And, you know, you're just worried about how this is going to go or manipulating the situation. So it's very difficult for you to be present with what they say. But like any backseat driver, listen, I am an expert on what anybody should have done in the past. And every one of us is an expert on what people should have done in the past. If you can review your own calls, you can become an expert on what you should have done in the past too, that can help inform what you do in the future. So let's play a couple of these calls and I want to work through these. We'll start with Aaron because I know Aaron is here. So Sonya Moore, if you're here too, she submitted calls, Gina Williams did, and Carlo did. Thank you very much. If you guys are here, let us know that you're here in the chat. And, you know, we have, so Barry, obviously, why am I nervous? Aaron, don't worry, don't be nervous, my friend. You're nervous because a world full of strangers is listening to your call at the same time.
Yeah, and honestly, Aaron, this could be the worst call I've ever heard, and it won't matter because the level of bravery it takes to share a moment of performance with a group of strangers on a recorded webinar took an immense amount of courage. Yes. So you might not be able to choose your way through handling a script right. Like you can't just say, okay, this call, I'm going to do it perfect. Like it doesn't work that way. But you could make a decision. I'm scared, but I'm going to have enough courage to try to get better at my career. And you made the right choice. So candidly, you could just say the alphabet on this recording and I would still be impressed with you. Like you just A, B, C. I'd be like, man, that Aaron.
Honestly, seriously, there are so many people registered for this webinar and we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who submitted calls.
Right.
4 people out of all the registrations that we have. But all these people want to hear what other people sound like. So Aaron, I'm going to start with this first one. And I did write some notes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this first one and I'm going to listen to from the technical side that we use in my training company. So some of it may not sound a little nitpicky, but I'll explain the reason that I'm pointing these things out. So I'm going to play this. Barry, give me a thumbs up when you can hear
it. Hello?
Clarissa.
Yes?
Hey, this is Aaron, the real estate agent here. Following up with you. Aaron, the agent.
What agent?
The real estate agent we spoke a couple of weeks ago about.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Just following up with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. It's about the house in Wildemar?
Yeah, the Wildemar house.
Yeah, but I got it something else, sorry.
You bought another house?
Okay, well, we can hear it.
House without me?
No, but I'm looking something else because I was over there and I think the price.
All right, so the first thing I want to correct with you, Aaron, is do you hear how long it took? It took to about, let's see.
In Wildemar?
It took 35 seconds into the call, and she had to ask you if it was about a certain property or about a certain thing. Your intro was too spotty. It needs to be much more clear. And so the way that you entered the call was like, hey, it's like me and Barry, right? If I called Barry up, I could be like, hey, Barry, it's Dale. Barry knows who I am. Barry and I have interacted a lot, right? But you haven't interacted with this person enough to enter a call like that. It's great. You should sound like you're very comfortable, just like you did. But in the intro, you need to give more information. And anything beyond, let's say, a week at most, if it's beyond a week and you're following up with somebody, it needs to sound more like this. Punchy, all together. Ring, ring, Barry. Oh. Hey, Barry, something's weird's going on with your voice, but this is Dale Archdekin with Whatever Realty. How are you, man?
Good.
Good. Hey, you and I talked 3 weeks ago about that property on Whatever Street. Wanted to follow up with you, see if you were interested in making an offer on it or moving forward with it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So now we're, 10 seconds or less into that call. Barry knows exactly who I am, what we talked about, why I'm calling him, and what I want to know very quickly, right?
Yeah.
All compact.
And I would totally agree. And also add, it kind of felt like you were just like a lamb to the slaughter. Like, what do you want to do with me? I'm here.
Right.
I'm calling you back. And it just like, you were waiting for the lead to define what the next steps were.
Yes.
And that put a lot of pressure on her, to be honest with you. Like, yes. You're now asking her how you can do your job instead of being the dentist and walking in the room and saying, this is what you need from me. This is what's next. And so you don't have to be, an arrogant jerk. I know you were coming from a really good place by being kind of more of a passive intro, but you have to understand that it completely backfires. I don't want to tell people what to do all day. Like especially a salesperson, I want to be served. I want to be served. I want you to make my life easy. And so by doing what Dale said, you're not being pushy. You're actually being helpful by connecting the dots for them and getting to the point. So just understand that what we're not asking you to do is to change the type of person you are. I'm actually asking you to be more of who you are, because you're being passive because you care, and I'm asking you to care enough to be direct. Does that make sense? I felt like I just spoke in riddles, but hopefully that helped.
Yes, exactly. I echo all of that stuff. Look at it this way. You are doing them a favor by saying who you are, why you should be talking to them right now, and what you want to know. right? Giving them the backstory and what you want to know. It just packages it up for them very nicely, makes it much easier. And also, fortunately, I listened to the whole call. It's a 3-minute and 50-second call. I thought it was longer than that, but she's the kind of person who's going to stay with you and try to figure it out. I got to be honest with you. I'm a driver, and especially if I'm busy and I get a rando call from a salesperson who drags shit out, I'm just going to be like, what do you want? What can I do for you? Right? If it gets to after about the first 10 seconds, because of so many solicitation calls that we get, like I get so many solicitation calls, I'm just like, get to it or get off my phone if I don't, within the first 5 seconds, recognize that I should be talking to you. So you need to get you should be talking to me up in there up front, because everybody's getting these solicitation calls. And yes, some personality types, let's say nicer personality types than mine will spend more time with you. Not nice personality types like mine won't spend as much time with you. So you need to get it in there quicker. Then some notes here. So what happened with this call is that apparently she wasn't interested in that particular property, was looking at other things. She owned multiple properties. And now she's got something else that she's giving Aaron the ability to take a look at. And so Aaron does a good job. In spite of her not looking at that particular property, he does stay in the call with her and identifies additional opportunities, because she's an investor that has some investment properties. But let's listen to how it gets handled. I'm not going to make you guys listen to the whole call.
Road 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the whole thing. Yeah.
So
the one thing, Clarissa, I'll tell you is to give you an accurate price, just to give you a quote on what that could sell for, we do need to see the house. When can I meet you and tour the house?
Okay, so now I believe there's multiple properties that are rented out on a piece of land, or maybe they're connected or something like that. But there's more than one property. It's like a compound or something that's rented out to tenants. So he just made the first ask to get in there and see it.
Oh, you can go anytime. Yeah, you can go inside.
Also, I want to point this out before we get into what else gets said. Before you ask for something, before you ask for a listing, before you ask for a buyer consultation, before you ask for a meeting, before you ask for anything, investigate the ways that things could go wrong. So let's do a little exercise here. Barry, if I am an investor and I own investment properties, and I say I have something that I'm potentially thinking of selling, and you want to ask me to go and tour the property in order to give me a price for it, or ostensibly have a listing appointment, can you just list some of the objections I could give you when you ask for that?
First thing that comes to my mind is I don't want my tenants knowing that I'm selling the place yet. I don't want them leaving. Now I'm going to have vacancy. It's just kind of a nightmare.
Yep.
Outside of that, I heard her sigh. You can go anytime. And basically the thing that she's trying to get rid of, for whatever reason, more than likely she's over it, I now basically represent a lot more work for her. And that's why she sighed. Oh, you can go anytime. Like you could hear it. And so just understand that those are definitely a real objection. I think another one would be, I'm not ready to sell it yet.
Okay. So don't want the tenants to know, not ready to sell it yet. I'm not ready to go through the work of getting these tenants out and selling it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Barry just identified, for everybody listening, 3 potential objections that could come up, and he hasn't asked for the listing appointment yet. We haven't heard what the response is, but we heard Aaron ask for the listing appointment. I know from years of being a listing agent that there's probably a list of 25 objections that I could get in the face of, can I come see your property, right? If I know that it's an investment property, just ask a few investigatory questions to alleviate or reduce some of the objections that you might get. So that could sound like Barry's talking about his investment property, or didn't even make it clear that it really is an investment. Barry has another property he's thinking of selling. Barry, excellent. Hey, is that property tenant occupied currently? That's one question, right? Do your tenants know that you intend or that you're interested in potentially selling it? How would they feel about it?
No, they don't know yet. I really don't, I don't want to cause any problems with them. I just, I need to do this as smoothly as possible. And that's part of my concern.
Got it. Okay. So we hear the positioning that I'm going to have to take to potentially get a listing appointment in that property, right? So let's just take that one answer that Barry gave me. And notice, I have not asked for the listing appointment yet. I'm going to tailor my ask to deal with the fact that he wants this done subtly with these tenants. We're just going to do it real quick. There's other questions I would ask, but let me just demonstrate. So Aaron asked, hey, in order for me to give you a good price, I have to come see the property. When can I see it? What I'm saying is, maybe if we asked a few more questions, like the one I just asked Barry, did the tenants know you're interested in potentially selling it? Barry says, no, I don't really want to go through that. I want to, kind of do this quietly as possible. Got it, Barry. That makes a lot of sense, man. Listen, I don't want to upset, your tenant situation, and maybe you might not even end up selling it anyway. In order for me to give you the information you need to actually decide whether to sell this property now or not, I will need to get in there with you. Is there any way that you and I can pose as a contractor? We're coming in to, inspect the HVAC or look at something just to get me in the property to take a quick look without, having to tell the tenants that you're considering selling or anything like that. Would something like that work?
Yeah. Are you asking me? I didn't know if I was still role playing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're good. So
yeah.
You see that point, Barry?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So Aaron, hopefully you're listening. My point is, go ahead, Barry.
I was just going to add one more thing to this whole discussion. I'm able to bring 2 decades of experience in actually being a landlord into this conversation with you guys, right? So I'm able to be empathetic with them by my experience, but we all know we haven't dealt with everything. And so rather than like, okay, the next time I talk to a landlord that has rentals, now I'll know how to deal with them. And it doesn't happen for another 4 years. But what I want you to do is, I think anytime we're talking to someone else, if we are obsessively focused on looking at their scenario from their vantage point, not what I need, but what they need, even if we don't know a lot about where they're coming from. So if you've never owned a lot of rentals, you don't know what it's like to list all of them at the same time. All you know is how to sell a house. The least you can do is get inside their head, find out what's making them feel the way that they feel. So for example, I've never lost anyone to death that's close to me, thankfully. And, but I had someone that had a close family member pass away, and they were trying to deal with all the possessions in the home, when to sell it, when to list it. And I just straight up told them, look, I've never lost anybody that was that close to me. And so I don't understand, nor will I pretend to understand where you're coming from. However, I do know how to sell a house. And so, let's talk about where you're at in this process and how I can help you get to where you need to go without putting any undue pressure on you. Does that sound fair? And so rather than pretending to understand, which is such a turnoff, I'm just being very authentic with them about who I am and how I can relate to them. And I'll tell you, every time I've done this, and Dale, I'd love to hear your opinion, but every time I've been able to connect with them on that level, it's always just worked out. One way or the other, it's always worked out.
Yeah. In fact, you can use that. You could use that strategy here, right? I'm a landlord, have lots of experience. I was a landlord before I was a real estate agent. And if you're not, and you don't have the experience, you can just do exactly what you did. Hey, oh man, listen, I would really love to give you a good price on that property so you can decide whether to sell it now or not, whether it makes sense. I don't have tenants though. I've never dealt with that before. What would you need to go through in order for me to be able to get into the property and give you that number?
Right. Right. And even with that, I can hear an agent's concern, oh, but now it's going to sound like I don't know everything. I think you should be less concerned about acting like we know everything and being
because everybody you talk to thinks they know everything. I can tell you that much right now. They already know everything. You don't need it covered.
And I deal with this with our foreign. So I've got, I'm training a call center for Ylopo in another country, and they try to hide that they're from another country. And I told him, I was like, hey, listen, when you do that, it makes it worse. You're everybody can tell that you're trying to act like you know what you're talking about, and you don't.
Right.
So let's talk about this. You know, how can we not be that, like we're acting like we're doing something illegal, because we're not. And it changed everything about the way they spoke to the consumer. And so it's the same thing for us when we're dealing with these situations.
Yeah, great. I'd love to hear more about the call center, but I digress. So let's hear what happened. Let's rewind the tape a little bit. And what sparked this off is just Aaron. Don't take this the wrong way. Aaron made a very vanilla ask for a listing appointment. Essentially, is what it is, right? Very straightforward. To give you a good price, I need to see the interior of the property. When can I go see it? Point being, that's a perfectly good close. If the person says, I want to sell my house, or by this time or within this time frame for around this amount of money, I'm not talking to anyone else, I'm ready to go, I need somebody to walk in here and tell me how much it's worth. Fantastic. I'd love to come see it. I need to see it in order to give you the best numbers possible. When can I come over? Perfect close for that.
Anytime. Yeah, you can go inside because sometimes I am not there, but it's open. It's a gate open, no dogs. You can go and figure out what is there because sometimes I am only making my chores. But you can go and see. You can see because it's open. It's a gate open, and you figure it out. Okay.
But as far as getting inside the house, I mean, we need to see the condition of the inside. The doors are, we need to meet with you and look at the inside.
Oh, yeah. This is a problem because I have tenants over there. Oh, God. Okay.
In all three houses?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me figure it out. So I need to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I call you back because they don't want to get, I need to let them before you go over there.
It's really easy, no pressure. We just want to meet with you, tour the house, go over what we think we can sell that for. But we got to get inside.
Okay, my friend.
Okay, now what I want to say is at this point in the conversation, let's get on her side of the table and help her out with this, right? So there's no help coming from you, Aaron, in order to figure out how she would go about doing that, right? So talk her through the process. And you know what? No, you don't, Aaron. Don't worry. Aaron, you're just being very straight to the point, right? You're just being very straight to the point. Aaron said in the chat, dang, I sound like a bleep, LOL. You don't sound like a bleep, my friend.
No, you don't.
No, not at all. No, you sound like a nice guy. However, what I can tell you, Aaron, is that your process in your head is just lead to sale. And it needs to be lead is actually a real person, has lots of thoughts and problems and considerations. Maybe I can help her out and that will get me to a sale. And so that will expand the conversation that you have and it will make you more of a consultant rather than a salesperson. That's all I'm hearing there.
Yeah, I agree completely. And even in Aaron's dialogue with us right now, Aaron, I don't know you personally, but I can tell just in the dialogue I've had with you, you don't seem like somebody that's trying to push anybody into anything. And so you're having to take on a new persona, or so you think, of being someone that's really getting to it. Like, I got them. This is what I've been trained to do. Let me make it happen. And I honestly just think you just need to let more of who you really are out because you actually do care. But it's scary to kind of be that authentic person. It's easier to kind of put on this different persona and just be really focused on lead conversion and I'm going to get it done. Let me, smile and dial. But really this call is a huge opportunity for you. And just, the more of you can show, I think the better off you'll be.
Yeah. I think if I were to summarize that, she has to now go away and figure out lots of things. How do I communicate with these tenants? Do I even want to do that? Am I going to risk them just moving out on me or giving up on me? Or should I just forget this entirely, right? Is this even worth this? Is the juice worth the squeeze here? Maybe she just wants a general range that she could sell it for without actually going through it. Maybe you could even just go meet her at her house and talk about the rental property, right? Really what you want to do is get face to face with the seller ultimately. Yes, you'll need to walk through the property if we get to give her a good valuation and to actually put the property on the market. But before that, if all you can get is a face-to-face or video-to-video with this potential seller to solidify that business, because she is talking to other people, as we identified early in the call, then maybe that's what you get done first. All right, let's go on to Gina's. So I want to play Gina's, and then we'll play Carlo's call. I'm going to try to get through here quicker. Barry and I do a lot of talking.
I'll shut it. That's your way of saying Barry, shut it.
It's mostly Barry, honestly. Let's see.
Connecting call 908.
You can hear that, right?
797 7266.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Anthony. It's Gina from Venture Homes Realty. Sorry I'm calling you. I just saw that you registered on our site. We're looking at homes in Florida, and I was just going to give you a call and see if you were just browsing, looking for fun, or thinking of moving down here in the next year.
Great intro, Gina. You actually stuck the landing on the scripting. Good job.
Yeah, it was like she started, and then like there was a moment where she said something like, "I'm just calling," and I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, me too. She did it.
And then she did perfect.
She pulled it out. Good job.
Good
I think
job.
she remembered the training or something. It like kicked in. I can tell because that's our script. Like that's the script that we teach, and you did it. Good job, Gina. For everybody who's not listening, that is a really great script. The only thing I would give is that you should match the word. He said hello, you said hey. Just match the word. You did go in confidently, knowing who he was, and then you ended up delivering the script. So great job. Now let's listen to this. There's a key thing I want you to hear.
We just got back from Venice, and we looked in Venice. Now we're trying to see what's available in Fort Myers and then what's available in Naples.
Oh, well, how about, have you considered Cape Coral, too, since that's all right there?
Not really.
No? Okay, so Fort Myers, Naples, and Venice, or Fort Myers and Naples?
Fort Myers, Naples. So where are you located?
All right, now, Fort Myers, Naples, he already rejected one of the suggestions that we gave, and then he asks where we're located. Be careful here, okay? This could be a landmine. It turns into a landmine, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. So when the guy says, where are you located? If he said, I'm interested in Fort Myers and Naples, I don't remember how close Fort Myers and Naples are, but based on the fact that Gina proposed those three areas, I'm assuming they're close enough that she could cover them. My answer would be Fort Myers and Naples, right? That's what the answer would be, but listen to what happened.
I'm in Fort Myers right now.
Yeah, so I'll take a look with you for Fort Myers.
Okay.
Weird phrasing, right? I'll take a look with you in Fort Myers. So what can that also mean, Barry?
Work with more than one agent.
Work with more than one agent in multiple areas. So I wanted to point out that red flag. It happened at about a minute 17, minute 15. That's an important point that I want people to understand. Now, what happens in the rest of this conversation, this guy is they already live in a retirement community in Georgia. They have cash. They want to sell and move to one of these areas in Florida. He did say we just were looking at places in Venice. Apparently he's decided against it. He's interested in Fort Myers and Naples. We still have Naples floating out there. What happened with the rest of this call is Gina did some good discovery, asking like who they are and why they're moving, or where they're trying to go or what they're trying to do, and about the financing. So he really takes control of the call, gives her lots of parameters and information, and then basically closes her out. So let's go down to the end so you can hear what happened.
Yeah, and the taxes are $9,000 a year, and the homeowner's insurance is $3,000.
This is why he's moving out of where he is.
Floods another $1,600. I mean, wow. the fire department charges you $700 a year. I mean, I'm up to $22,000 January 1. I mean, right. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm done with that. I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. And Florida, I'm telling you, everybody's doing it. Everybody's moving here. It's crazy.
I know.
1,000
It seems
people
to
a
be
day.
an issue. I
Yeah.
know.
No, it's
I
good.
know. Everybody. I know. It's crazy.
You can be a
So,
good company.
All right. I gave you the criteria. Let me know what you
Perfect.
come up with, and we'll
Okay.
go from there. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, so a couple of things here. She never got into whether or not he was working with other agents in Naples, whether that was being covered at all, right? We never talked about the fact that she can cover Naples as well, because he kind of shoved her off the phone. But at that end, I would have stayed there, at least get that Naples thing answered, Gina, because I want to know, am I dealing with competition here? Do I need to, where's his mindset? Does he value having one representative who understands his situation, that he knows, likes, and trusts? Or is he that person who thinks he has an advantage working with multiple people? I just want to understand that. Like, what am I dealing with? What do you think, Barry?
I think I like at the end you just said, what am I dealing with? And that kind of is what I was going to mention as well, in that when I'm talking to someone, and he wasn't rude, but I could tell he was keeping it close to the vest. His answers were short. There wasn't a lot of inflection in his voice. I kind of got the vibe that he had been running like a Fortune 500 company for a long time and retired. He's just used to having to deal with a lot of stuff and a lot of people. And so this is when I'm intrigued. Now, I don't know how, Dale, you're the professional trainer, so you can make this make more sense. But for me, at that moment, I need to connect with this guy. He's compartmentalizing me to a specific location. He's reduced everything to like basically a spreadsheet in this conversation, and he's not going to remember who I am. And so for me, I'm going to say, the way that you're parsing through all of this, the way that you've got this organized, do you have a real estate background, or what industry do you work in, is how I ask. I don't ask where they work, because that's boring. I ask what industry they're working in. And basically a lot of times what you find out is they've bought and sold a lot of homes. Sometimes they're investors, sometimes they're big CEOs. And then this gives you a whole nother world to be relevant to them. Because right now I feel like you're going to get off the phone and there's a chance that they'll never answer the phone ever again.
Right. And that's something I want to point out. Let's listen to the end of this call. One of the things that we train is that you never end a conversation without a couple of these key things, which is, when are we going to interact again? Why are we going to interact again? And what are you going to get out of it? So let's hear if she ended that conversation with those three key things.
No, it's crazy.
You can be a good company.
All right. I gave you the criteria. Let me know
Perfect.
what you come up with, and we'll go from there. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Barry, can you answer when they're going to talk again? No. Okay. Do you know why they're going to talk again? The answer is no.
Let me know what you come up with, is what he said. And I don't know what that means really, but.
So we don't really have a why. And do we know what he's going to get out of that next interaction?
No.
No, we don't. So let's just make one up based on what we heard. The guy gave a bunch of criteria. We didn't ask about that other agent in Naples. Presumably I'm supposed to send him stuff in Fort Myers. So I'll just pretend that I'm her. And Barry has just said, hey, great, gave you the criteria. Let me know when you find something. Excellent, Barry. I appreciate that. Listen, I think that what I'll do is, let me do a quick search on Fort Myers. I'm going to send that stuff over to you either tonight or say tomorrow morning. I'd love to jump on a quick call with you again, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I just want to see what you've already looked at and haven't, what you like and don't like, so that'll help me refine my search. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Good. Now we have when we're going to talk, why we're going to talk, what you're going to get out of it.
Yeah. And I don't know how I teach this. I'm trying to think of what I say. I tell my agents, if there's not a clear next step, you failed. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, like, for us, if it's this vague, I'll call you, let me know, like, they're probably not going to answer the phone anymore. And because to me, organizing all of this and crystallizing it for them is part of how I become valuable. This is a big, confusing subject. They're in different parts of the country or part of the state. You know, all he knows is he doesn't want to spend money. And so we really got to crystallize it. And that's what Dale said.
Yep. Excellent. All right, Gina, thanks for submitting that call. Let's go to Sonya. I had a couple of notes on Carlos. Could redirect time frame. Okay. Let's go. I just want to hear Sonya's. I haven't heard this yet, and she just submitted it. And then we'll go to Carlos.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Michael. This is Sonya with eXp Realty. How are you?
Good.
Good. I was looking here. You registered for some homes in the Polk County area.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How soon are you looking to move?
Okay. So Sonya, we're going to correct your script a little bit. You want to listen to the Gina script, right? The basics of it are you did really good introducing who you were, where you were from. My only critique is don't go up on the end of your sentences, because it sounded like you didn't know whether you were from EXP or you were looking for permission or recognition from him that he understood what you were saying. So I want you flat or down swinging on everything, if that makes sense. So instead of, hi, this is Sonya from EXP, it would just be, hi, this is Sonya, last name from EXP, right? Just keep the tone neutral so that you sound like you're in control. And then a very simple script. Looks like you registered on our website to look at homes for sale in whatever area. Are you planning? I just wanted to see if you're planning on buying in the next few months or if you're just window shopping at this point. Any variation of that. I know that this was an internet lead based on the way that you talked to him, and that basic scripting for internet leads, because so many of them are not ready to buy. What we notice is that you immediately went to a time frame question. Basically, when are you planning to purchase, right? A lot of those internet leads don't necessarily have a plan to purchase by any certain time. And even a lot of them haven't even made the final decision to buy yet. And when they hear language like that from a strange salesperson, it typically turns them off or makes them scared and makes them go away. So when you're working internet leads, I wouldn't go directly at when do you plan to buy as your initial question. What we did instead with that scripting is we expanded it to, are you planning on buying in the next few months, which is what I want to hear, or are you just window shopping at this point, which is essentially like allowing them to say, I'm not quite ready, I'm just getting started, I don't really know. You're making it okay for them to not be ready to buy or sell something.
As soon as we find a house we like.
Oh, okay. So I see here it says Winter Haven, Auburndale, Haines City. So those are the only three areas you're looking in?
I don't want Haines City. Lakeland, Winter Haven, Auburndale.
Okay, so Lakeland, Winter Haven, and Auburndale. No Haines City. Okay, perfect.
So by the way, this guy sounds kind of young. Would you agree, Barry?
Yes.
Sonya sounds a little bit older, a little like, you know, like she has a little more knowledge and experience. Just listening to what I'm hearing here.
Yeah.
So when the guy's a little bit short, right? He's answering the questions, but he's a little short. He's not a chatty dude. I feel like Sonya might be a little more of a chatty person. I want to hear, I'd rather have heard that go, hey, Barry, it's Dale Archdekin with Whatever Realty. Looks like you registered on our site to look at homes for sale in X neighborhoods. Are you planning on buying in the next few months or just window shopping at this point? Say whatever he said.
I think that's.
Oh, he said whenever we find the right home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic, Barry. What has you guys thinking about making a purchase?
We just need more room.
More room. Wow, great. How big of a space do you have now?
We just have a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom. Got it. What are you looking to move up to?
At least 3 bedrooms.
That's exciting. So you have like an old college buddy moving in with you, or what's going on?
No. My girlfriend just found out she's pregnant. We're just trying to make sure we have enough room.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Listen, everybody, I was fishing for the pregnancy, right? I was looking for it, but I can't ask him, hey, are you having a baby? I'm not supposed to do that, right? So I just made a joke about college roommate moving in with him. Point being, Sonya, this is very dry is what we're hearing. So if you can interject the why, what you'll notice is when I asked him the initial question, are you planning on buying in the next few months or just window shopping? And he gave the answer this guy gave. I went with the why. What has you thinking about making a move, Barry? What has you in the market to purchase, right? That's the why. That opens people up much better so that we don't have such a dry conversation.
Well, no, go ahead and play it.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump down to the end because I do want to get to Carlos. I'm going to see, how did Sonya close this out? Did we get a when we're going to talk, why we're going to talk, and what they're going to get out of it?
Of rent anymore.
All right.
On your list, and I like this one. Let's go take a look.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and then once I
Hold on. She's going to send them properties.
Number on it, but I'm also going to send you my personal number. It's going to start with a 954. So if you see that number, that's my personal cell number. If you need to get a hold of me, quicker or anything like that.
All right.
So make sure you lock that number in as well when I send it to you. And then once I get the pre-approval letter and my email, I'll reach out to the loan officer. I'll talk to her, and then we can start looking for some properties, so you don't have to pay that high, expensive rent anymore.
All right.
On your list, and I like this one. Let's go take a look.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and then once I see the properties you like, what I do is I send you the listing directly from my MLS. That way you have all the information. You'll know what the house pertains and things like that. So that way you'll have that information. And then once we go take a look at the property, I always print out a copy for you to keep for yourself, so you'll have all the information as well. Yeah, just feel free to shoot me a message, text, say, hey, Sonya, let's go see this one. Make an appointment for that one. Because the quicker we start looking, the sooner we can get you and your family into your own home and start getting some equity in. Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, Michael, it was great talking to you. I'm going to send over my information right now.
All right, so I think this was based on him talking to a lender first. And Sonya, I really like how in control you are from a sales perspective, giving him your contact information, telling him exactly what the next steps are going to be. The only issue is that we're stuck behind him looking at him telling us what he wants to go see. That's my only issue. We're stuck behind two things. It sounds like we're stuck behind lender, stuck behind him picking out something he wants to see. So I want to see if I can find the lender part.
Right. Okay, so no preference on the home. Okay. How the credit works, date your approval letter. Okay. Let me see if I can search for some other houses in the area for you. Now, what time of the day is available for you to look at some properties? That one, like the loan officer said, until we find you something and you like to put an offer on, you can always go back and then they can update your approval letter. That's not a problem. Because the thing is, you do not want these people to keep pulling your credit.
No, it's the good thing.
You know what I
they did
mean?
it all at the same time, but it still shows that there's 4 inquiries on my damn credit.
So let me ask you this, Mike. Did they do it within the 14 days?
Yes, it was all done in 14 days, so it didn't hurt my credit score, but it shows that 4 different companies pulled my credit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think that what I would have done, just listening to this, it sounds like he's already done his pre-qual before, so we're not waiting on the lender part. It sounds like she's sending him properties. She's sending her contact information and saying, if you pick one you want to go see, let me know. What I would probably do is with every new buyer lead that you speak to, especially if they are pre-qualified, 1, find out if they've seen anything yet. 2, ask them at least twice, if not 3 times, to go window shopping with you, okay? We don't want them sitting on their couch or in their office waiting for what they think is the right property to actually go and see something, okay? We need to get face-to-face with them. We need to imprint on them like a brand new puppy, right? So we need them out at the house. We want them to go window shopping with us. You know, honestly, you can't, like, I wouldn't buy, like, I can't sit around and just shop for cars online. You actually have to go look at the cars and sit in them and touch them and smell them and all that kind of stuff. So you want to, who's this? Teresa. How could I do that from an ISA position? Teresa asked, how could I do that from an ISA position? Teresa, you can do all of that stuff, okay? You can act as if, you can ask these people to go window shopping with you or with your team to check out these houses, walk through them, touch the materials, see how the layout is, just understand what they like. And when they say yes, say fantastic. It's going to be my partner, Sally, who's going to meet you at the house, who's the actual agent that's going to be showing it to them. So you can do anything from an ISA position, as long as you're not giving them typically advice on pricing or markets. But Sonya, really great stuff in here. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, and I think, I know for me, when I'm listening to this call, I think you did more right than you did wrong. And so the only thing I can think of that would help you is, you sound to me, Sonya, like a very driven and motivated person. Like, I don't think that, like, my take on you is, if you worked in my office and you were next to me, I wouldn't have to like pull you to work. Like, I think you're about your business, and I can just hear it.
Sounds like a hustler.
Yeah, just, it does. And so what you're doing is you're
so
almost—
Barry wants to hire you, Sonya, if you're in the Virginia area.
There you go. If you're assuming that the person that on the other end of the phone has that same motivation, I think that that's a misstep, because I don't think that they're going to. I don't think anybody, generally speaking, has a lot of motivation to do much of anything. It's like, I'm not happy to say that, but I'm just being honest. But you can find out what's motivating them. And what you did was, you went over the process without necessarily understanding why or what's motivating him. And so you were flying blind, to be honest with you. You were just hoping that something was going to stick when you're going over this process. Now, I don't think you lost him as a client or anything crazy like that, but I think, like, why was he so short? Like, did he have to go? What like, and so sometimes
I think he was a millennial and he's not used to talking on the phone, frankly.
Yeah, and that could be it. But normally what I would do is, if something just like I said to you guys with the executive, hey, I'm not used to talking to people that know so much about this. What's your background? What industry did you work in? You're really parsing through this really well. In the same way, I'm going to take a moment and have an authentic moment with this person. Hey, is this helpful to you? I definitely don't want to bother you. Now, I realize that it could backfire, but I would rather have an authentic conversation with someone and they not want to work with me anymore than me follow up with them for 6 months and them never call me back. So I guess that's a long way of saying, go in with a surgeon scalpel versus a shotgun. And the way you're going to do that is find out what's motivating them first.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. We are overtime at the moment, guys. So good, but shotguns are more fun. Aaron. So we're overtime for today. I got to go. I have to do a webinar for Follow-Up Boss. Is that fair?
No.
Can't leave? No. I'm not allowed to go do the Follow-Up Boss one. So for the calls we didn't get played, if you happen to be a Follow-Up Boss member, jump over there. You can watch this. I'm going to be doing more call review for Follow-Up Boss in about 2 minutes. Or I'm doing the cash call today, which cash call podcast that we do every single week. You can catch that by just.
You have a link, Dale? Everybody's asking for a link. You're tantalizing them with all your fancy words, and you're not providing them the opportunity to.
Listen, it's my first day here, Barry. It's my first day.
And then Teresa wanted to know how you do this from an ISA position. I think just avoid giving specific real estate advice. Everything else you can do. Just don't give them anything that is required to have a real estate license. And that's a market specific discussion. You just got to find out what your parameters are.
Take ownership of the deal. That's how you do it.
That too. Yeah.
Take ownership of the deal. All right. So I'm going to post it. Here's the registration link for cash call. It's going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern. So
don't be late like I was to this.
You can all jump on there. Listen, I can't do this without Barry. You know what I mean? Barry's my muse.
Yes. All righty. Thanks, guys.
All right. Great seeing everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you, Barry.
Thanks, Dale. Bye.